Hey guys, I'm Sonnet, the owner and creator behind Sonnet's Garden Blooms, and I want to welcome you to day 2 of the 25 days of Thriftmas. Now in today's video, what we're going to do is take items from last year's decor and we are refabbing it. So I like to reincorporate items from year to year. I hate to just use it one year and get rid of it. So we are going ahead and we are going to refab a few of those items. Plus, we are going to make a few new items. Now in tomorrow's video, which is day 3, you are going to get the big reveal of all the decor in the yard and what I have done this year for decorating the outside of my home. Well, let's go ahead and I'm going to show you the items that we are going to refab. You remember this sign from last year? It was a hit or miss. Half of you guys liked it, half of you didn't. I attempted to put glitter on all of these letters, and over having this outside all last year was this was a miss, guys. All the glitter peeled off. So how I attached the glitter is I ended up putting a very thick layer of Elmer's glue down, and then I sprinkled the glitter in. I let it dry, and it seemed like it really held up, but it didn't. So I'm assuming because of being in the elements, it actually must have gotten wet and then it all flaked off in storage. So what we're going to do is we are going to first and foremost repaint all the letters to make them a bright red. So I'm breaking out Marquee, and many of you know this is by far my favorite red from DIY. I'm going ahead and applying just one even coat to all of the letters, and I'm going to let that dry, and then we're going to seal it. Now that they are all dry, I'm taking DIY's Big Top and I'm going to apply one even coat to all the letters. I want to let this dry very thoroughly overnight in my studio, and then we're going to go on to the next step. So I had this ribbon around the bottom and around the top, and just being out in the elements over winter, it definitely got faded. So what we're going to first do here is remove all of that. I also took a damp rag and I wiped off the entire sign. It's amazing just being outside. Even though it's like all winter long, it doesn't seem like it would get dirty, but it did. So I wiped it all down very thoroughly. And then what we're going to do is this year I chose the red and black buffalo check. I found I was not inspired. I went to Hobby Lobby, I went to Michael's, and none of the actual ribbons like really popped out on me. But I went to Michael's and I ended up finding this really thick, chunky black and red buffalo check ribbon. And I decided that we needed a pop of color, and this is what it was going to be. So on the front of my home, I used this ribbon for all the bows, and I really like how thick and chunky it is, and it's real soft. I just really liked it. So for the refab of this sign, I am taking the ribbon, the red and white buffalo check ribbon, and we are going to attach it to the front. So where that crossboard holds the two long boards together, I'm just stapling a piece of that ribbon to the back. And then from there, I also picked up this twine from Walmart, and I love using it on my signs. It's real chunky and thick. And then I take that and I wrap that around the red and black buffalo check ribbon as well. Now, if you did notice the pricing of that ribbon, it had been like $16.99. I believe that all the ribbons were, I'm trying to remember, I think I only paid $5 a roll for that black and red buffalo check ribbon. So instead of $17, it was like $5 something that I paid per roll. So it was a very good price. So now I'm wrapping that chunky twine around there, and then I'm going to top it off at the end with just a little ribbon on the top, and then I'm going to do the same thing for the bottom. Refab number 2, last year I had found this sled in the garbage and I picked it up right away. What you may not notice, because I ended up spraying it white last year, was that on the one side they attempted to fix this sled that was broke with black electrical tape. So my quick fix last year, and there it is if you see to the left, the spray paint actually is flaking off. And that was from, again, being in the elements and all season long out in the cold and snow. So I want to refab this. Last year it was a real quick fix. I wanted to spray it white, make it really pop, and kind of hide that black tape. Well, the first thing I decided to do was remove that black tape, see how bad it was broken underneath, because I really didn't know. I kept feeling that black tape and there was something like chunky underneath it. In the end, I found that what they did was they must have glued it, which was a really good thing. And then they took a piece of metal and they wrapped this metal piece around it. So that was actually what was holding that chunk of sled together. And then they decided, for whatever reason, to put that black tape over it, which was kind of a fail on their part. I think if they would have just glued it and then put that piece of metal, it would have been fine. So what I'm doing is I'm going to remove the black tape, and then we are going to blend we're going to add some white to hide what was underneath that black tape. So apparently when I put this away last year, I just left the greens right on there with that ribbon. And I probably didn't even realize that there were greens on there because it probably had died by the time I put it away. So first and foremost, I'm removing the greens and we're going to toss them because they are no longer green. They're just a bunch of sticks. And then I do like to keep the wire. The ribbon is definitely faded just from being out in the elements. And typically from year to year, I do replace my ribbons just because the color does seem to fade just being outside in the elements. So that is gone. I'm going to try to repurpose that twine though that I used, or the metal piece that I used on that ribbon. And then my vision for this is I want to bring this sled back to life and paint all the metal red. So I'm going to go and apply a nice even coat of marquee over the entire metal pieces. And this took me a little bit, guys. And I really tried to stay in the lines or on the metal pieces, which was a little difficult, but I did a fairly good job. I used a small detail brush, and like I said, I just applied a really nice even coat to the entire piece, let it dry, and then what we're going to do is we're going to come back. I really like how the white looks distressed, but I do need to blend that area where that tape was. So we're going to just add a little bit of white swan over the entire piece. Then I'm going to sand it a bit to bring some of that grain back out, and then we're going to clear coat the whole piece. For the red, I don't know if I mentioned, I did use marquee from DIY. For the white here, I am using white swan. The spray paint that I used last year was a really vibrant, bright white, and I think it blended the best. So here you can see I'm just trying to blend in that area where that black electrical tape had been, and then I'm going to just kind of blend all throughout the whole top. And like I said, come back with my hand sander and just kind of zap it here and there to bring back that grain, and then we'll clear coat it. So I'm using Big Top to seal it, and I am starting with the white. Anytime you use a colored DIY paint and you seal it, the actual clear coat does take on like the red. So if I would have did the red first, then the white, there would have been a chance of the red being on the white. So I'm doing the white first, then I'm going to go and clear coat the entire base of which is the red. For my third refab, it's these holiday pillows. Last year, I recovered them and they were out in my decor all winter long. I also had that third pillow that I had thrifted and I threw out there too. And you can see that one got a little like mold on it, probably from just being in the elements. What we're doing here is I plan on recovering them. This is really the simplest way to do that, guys, is, definitely keep those pillows. They were stored in my garage all summer. I pulled them out and now let's just recover them, and it is going to be a super quick and easy fix. I ended up finding this fabric at Walmart, and yes, my kitty is very obsessed with me. She always has to be near me when I'm doing stuff, so she had to be in the shot here. But I picked this fabric up for $5 a yard, and it's going to be just a really simple fix. And I typically can get 2 pillows, I think approximately, out of a yard. And so the pillows themselves are 16 by 16. So across I measured, and I wanted to double check, so I'm going to measure 17 inches wide, and then because the top is already folded, I'm just going to wrap it around. I'm going to be doing measuring 17 across and 16 and a half up, and then we're going to start sewing. If you don't have a sewing machine, this is one of, honestly, the simplest things to use. And I picked this very inexpensive Brother Up at Walmart. I always keep it in my craft room and pull it out whenever I need to do just a quick fix like this. And I'm using red just to match the actual pillow. And what I do is I start on one, so on the very bottom, you always want to leave an opening to put your pillow in. So I always just do a little bit on each end and then go around the other side. So I am going to just start there. When you start sewing, you want to start, I always just put the needle I take the handle and I just bring the needle into the fabric, and then I start sewing. I always go back to, there's like a little reverse button, and then you reverse back, and then I continue sewing. I go right around that corner and all the way along the other side, and then on the very top, I just again do a little bit back and then right off the edge. It is that quick, and I do that to both sides. And maybe if this is something that you are interested in, I mean, I am not a professional sewer. This is something that I know one other time I sewed something, I think, and somebody said that I didn't do it correctly. I am not a master sewer by any means, but for me, sewing these pillows and putting them outside is a very easy fix. to allow me to add to my decor for a very inexpensive price versus spending a fortune on new pillows to put outside every time. If it is something you're interested in learning a little bit more about, put that in the comments and let me know. I can even do like a future video on how to use a sewing machine. But I wanted to show you this piece, how easy it is just to whip out a pillow. Now that it's completely sewn, what we're going to do is turn it right side up. So I'm flipping it inside, well, it was inside out, so I'm flipping it the right way. I'm taking my finger and pushing out each corner, and then there you have it. We are then going to stuff the old pillow in this new pillowcase, and then I'm going to sew the bottom, and there you have it, folks. It was that easy. I wanted to add some signage to my outside decor, and yes, I did have my big sign that said Mary, but I thought I would add just a couple little different signs to add to some of the benches and maybe to one of the window boxes. So I had a bunch of these boards. If you've watched any of my past videos, you'll know that I have a ton of fence boards to use up. So for starters, I cut them down to a couple different sizes, and I am painting them white swan. So I'm going to add one even coat of white swan to both of these boards. I'm going to let it dry. Then I'm going to take my hand sander and basically just zap it, rub my hand sander over. I just want to bring the grain of the wood out a bit, just to make it look a little bit old and distressed. And from there, I'm going to come back and we're going to stamp some fun sayings on here. For the first sign, I wanted to say Holly Jolly, but then I decided that I wanted to use the cozy set of stamps because it had a really fun star or snowflake type of image, and that is what we are going to put in the center of the sign, and then we are going to come back and stamp Holly Jolly. I'm using the set of stamps called Typesetting, and you guys, that's why I have it part of a few of my favorite things customer appreciation challenge, is that this is by far one of my favorite set of stamps. It comes with uppercase, lowercase, and numbers, and so easily you can add or create a quick sign like this, and I know you guys are gonna love them as much as I do. I am using the permanent ink from IOD to stamp these signs, but because I used White Swan from DIY, I am sealing both signs with the DIY Big Top. Anytime you're using DIY paint, you do need to seal them with some type of top coat, otherwise they will be reactivated. That is the nice thing about DIY paint, is that you can blend very easily with it because it does reactivate with water. The last thing I want to show you is I thrifted these lanterns, and let me tell you, I do not know how I did it, but on 3 separate thrifting missions, I was able to get 3 of these. They are all from, I guess they must have been from IKEA because that's what the tag said. I picked them up. One was $4.99, the other was $5.99, and I think the third was $3.99. So very odd prices, but inside here, I would highly recommend, if you are looking to add a little ambiance to your outside decor, These candles I picked up at Walmart, and they are LED I'm thinking like almost like less than $3. So I added these last night, and let me tell you, they look so good. So I cannot wait to show you what they look like in tomorrow's video. I hope you enjoyed day 2 of the 25 days of Thriftmas. If you do want to participate in a few of my favorite things, Customer Appreciation Challenge, just remember, all you need to do is watch this video, go ahead, make a comment, like this video, and then share the video so the word gets out on the street about my channel. Now, if you do want to see what items will be drawn for on December 26th, those are all going to be found in video number 1. I do have them all laid out for you so you can take a peek at those. I will be going live tonight over on Facebook. We are going to do some crafting and noggin. So if you guys do like eggnog, break out the eggnog. We're going to do some crafting from 6 to 7. I do have a little crate that I want to refab to put into my outside decor as well. So I'm thinking outside, maybe it'll end up inside, who knows, but depending on how this evening goes with that. And so if you haven't done so yet and you're loving my channel, go ahead, hit subscribe, turn on your bell notification as well so that every Monday and Friday you'll be notified when I do upload a video. Now in the month of December, you're going to get a lot of notifications because I'll be uploading every single day. So I look forward to showing you the big reveal tomorrow, and we will see you then. Have a great night. Bye.